Well, we have a couple of wrestling superstars here in the studio today, and I love talking wrestling because I wrestled in high school and maybe a little bit in college. But state championships in any state, when you win a wrestling state championships, that's a huge, huge deal. The last time George Jenkins won had a state champion wrestler was 15 years ago. We'll go that way. That is just incredible. But here today, Ray Shaw, his coach, Gavin Osborn from George Jenkins. Congratulations on winning the state title. I'm impressed. That is really something else. He wrestled at a lot heavier weight than I did, but I think I was wrestling back then it was 95, and then I moved up to 122. I think the next year. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's a great sport. Of course, in Wisconsin, it's in the wintertime. There's not a lot to do outside. You know, there's a little snow skiing and snowmobiling and ice fishing. But anyway, we'll move on from
and Gavin won the Poseidon duels. So in his weight class, as well as the state.
Yeah, Ray did.
So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ray did. I'm sorry. So.
Yeah, Gavin's.
Yeah,
I'm past
Gavin's
my
prime. You're past your prime. You didn't get out there?
No, I just do all the
still
coaching.
got it.
Okay.
He still got it.
Gavin, how did you get involved in wrestling, by the way?
So I've wrestled as a little kid. My dad was a wrestling coach.
Okay.
Got out of high school, had the opportunity to go wrestle in college. Money wasn't right, so I stayed home. Started coaching at my alma mater, Bartow, and then coached at Kathleen for a few years with my dad. And then once I graduated, I wanted to get into teaching. So I got a job at George Jenkins and started coaching there. And 6 years later, here we are.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to Southeastern University.
Great school. Yeah. One of my favorites.
Yeah. Local product.
Oh, wow.
So.
Yeah. Local boy made good.
Yeah. So far.
So and Ray, you're not originally from the area, so tell us about that.
I was born in Orlando, and I moved down here when I was in the 7th grade, and been here since. So
Okay.
cool.
Yeah. Where'd you go to school in Orlando? What area?
I was in the West Orlando
Okay.
side. I went to Eccleston Elementary, then Carver Middle School, and then transferred to Stanball Middle School that's in Arbondale.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
wrestled at Arbondale for a year, and then came to George Jenkins.
State championships, the highlight so far. Pretty much.
So far.
Yeah.
He's got another year.
Another
Yeah.
year.
Now,
He's got
the year
some
to
big
go.
goals.
You're a junior, moving into your senior year. Tell us about some colleges you're looking at, because you've got to be heavily recruited as a junior.
I am, but like my dream school has been Arizona State.
Okay.
I really want to go there, but got to keep working hard.
Yeah.
Got to keep working hard if I want that.
Academics
Yes, sir.
pretty strong.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What kind of major do you think you're?
Probably physical education,
Okay.
physical science around there.
Yeah, that's a good fit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it seems like a real family unit sort of feel for Jenkins Wrestling. So I saw that with getting the state championship, you get the principal to buy your lunch, and your guest was another wrestler. So sort of giving back a little bit, and there's sort of like a fellowship with you guys.
He's my practice partner.
Okay.
Jackson Leets. Yeah, me and him, we grinded it out all year long. And at the end, it was me and him. And I told him, me and him, we was gonna do it, and we did. He got fourth, I got first, and yeah, just mutual love.
That's pretty
There you
cool.
go.
Gavin, obviously, you created a culture that I talk about a lot. And what goes on in the locker room has a lot to do what goes on out in the field or out on the wrestling mat or in the basketball court or whatever it is. What's your approach?
We spend so much time together in the practice room, and it's hot. It's not fun. It's, you're sweating. Some kids are vomiting in the trash can. Some kids are, having bloody noses or busted lips. So there's a lot of aspects of it that aren't fun. So we try to make sure that we do a lot of fun things together, whether that's go to the lake and we tow kids on tubes and skis and things like that, like the previous segment. And then we travel as much as possible, and we try to make sure that we do something fun as well. it's not just, we say all the time, this is a business trip, but you have to have some fun with it too, because they are high school kids. So, they spend so much time together, which is why it was so cool to see Ray invite his teammate to eat lunch with the principal, because, as cliche as it may sound, like, we really are a family. Whether it's the boys or the girls, they're all in there spending so much time with one another that they view each other literally as family, not just teammates.
Well, you'd be surprised, and both Jack and I, talking to coaches, watching, and we're going to have another very special coach, Hall of Famer, soon to be, is our third segment. But it's that culture in the locker room that makes the difference. So that ion, that developing that trust, respect, and the culture, my hat's off to you. I think it makes a huge difference.
The team, they really police themselves for the most part. Ray's done a really good job at being a leader. Kids want to be like Ray. He's vocal, he works hard. Obviously he's very talented, but he's a good person, so people want to be like Ray. So we were having a conversation on the way over here about, like, hey, I need you to help a brother out, and so they police themselves, though, for the most part, and we really don't have many issues, thankfully.
Yeah.
So having grown up in the wrestling culture here in Polk County, you've seen it evolve. So to get to the point where we're having state champions all the time, what's that been like for you?
Polk County back in the 90s was really good at wrestling. You had Auburndale, who was a powerhouse. Lakeland was producing state champions. Kathleen was producing state champions. Lake Region was good. And then so there in the early 2000s, it kind of fell apart, and Brandon was the king. But now there's so many more opportunities to wrestle locally here in the state, and it's been awesome to watch Polk County get better. We're getting ready to go to a tournament this weekend for our club team. So there's an opportunity everywhere, whether it's locally, across the state, or even the country, for kids to wrestle, and it's been enticing to younger kids, especially like in our club, to go and wrestle alongside guys like Ray. This past weekend at Tyrant, we had our elementary school kids there, and they were just tickled to death that Ray was in their corner getting to watch him, because he's somebody that they look up to.
So I was going to ask that. So it's a special athlete that gets into wrestling. It's different from all the other sports.
You have to be different. Yeah.
It's a combat sport, and so you start that obviously with the club, then with the young kids, and then they connect with someone like Ray, follow him off into his college career and whatnot,
Absolutely.
and you continue that. That's sort of the way that you're recruiting. Lack poor choice of
Absolutely.
words, but teaching the young ones about the sport.
Yes, yeah, and he's staying after and helping coach our club kids, and it's a family environment, whether you're just a high schooler or you're a middle schooler or you're an elementary schooler, boys, girls, it doesn't matter. They're all in there together, and he's a great role model for him.
And for Ray, so you're going into physical education when you for college.
Yes, sir.
To teach, I take it.
Yes,
on the
sir.
other side, a little bit of influence over here next to you.
Yes, sir. I grew up playing football, and I had role models, and I always wanted to be a coach, because every coach I had cared about me in a different type of way, and I want to give back.
Yep.
That's the goal.
It's special.
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
And I think the world of sports, Jack, has changed in that direction. You see the really good guys, good girls, with that mindset. And Ray, when you were growing up, you first starting to get into wrestling, was there anybody that you really looked up to that I want to wrestle like that guy?
It was this kid on my wrestling team my freshman and sophomore year. His name was Nate Gabriel. He was a state champ from Auburndale.
Yep.
And I watched him win a state title. I watched how hard he worked and how dedicated he was. And when I was on my run to win a state title, that's the only thing that I could really think about, was like I am really in those same shoes he was back when I was a sophomore. And it was a good experience that I had. And yeah.
That's cool.
Well, and we've got like 2 seconds left, and I just want to tell you congratulations one more time. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Winning a state wrestling championships, you have no idea how hard it is, especially when you have to lose weight. I used to lose weight, run in a rubber suit, do all this type of stuff to get my weight down, and I'd get on that bus, make weight, get on that bus, and just gorge carbohydrates, candy bars, you name it, till almost you get sick, because it is tough. It isn't just you go out there and perform. You got to prep. Anyway, guys, thanks so much. Gavin,
Appreciate you having
it was
us.
a pleasure to
Thank
have you. Congratulations on the team that you've created.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.